Yo, YouTube, this like second video or something. Oh no, I'm still getting new to posting and uploading on here, so it probably ain't gonna be no edits. Definitely gonna be no edits. But just enjoy the authenticity of the uploads, okay? It ain't gonna be too crazy yet, but it'll get better, as time goes on. But what we got right now, it's a quick little video on, well, not really quick, it's 22 minutes. It's a video on how a pizza delivery boy built a drug empire. Now, I don't even want to speak too much on it. Let's just get straight to the video.
We have a couple teenagers who trade pizza delivery for marijuana smuggling, and they ended up building a $60 million illegal business.
60 million, bruh.
I mean, he was a nerd, but sure enough, there he is, facing trial.
See, bruh, it be the nerds, bruh. Y'all be thinking niggas just cause you think they be going home, study every night, get good grades. But them niggas still be out there, they be doing the unthinkable.
Clark and a friend started smuggling millions of dollars worth of pot from Canada into North Idaho.
And then all of a sudden the world just changes and you've got millions of dollars and everyone wants to be your friend because they're attracted to the money and the power. It's like a crime teen dramedy thriller.
A teenager running a $38 million criminal empire sounds insane, but for Nate Norman, it was real life. Even crazier, most of his crew were also teenagers, and together they built one of the biggest smuggling operations
niggas was getting money, bruh.
And through it all, these kids had one rule: don't let mom and dad find out. This is the crazy story of how a high school kid created a $38 billion drug empire. I'm Visual Venture, and you are awesome. The last person you would expect. Nate Norman was the last person anyone would ever call a criminal mastermind. Okay. And there were three big reasons why.
Let's see, do he look like, he don't look, bro, I ain't gonna lie, he look, it's probably cause he done already got caught for his crimes, but he definitely look like he'd do something like that, I ain't gonna lie.
Would ever call a criminal mastermind, and there were three big reasons why. First, his age. Nate was only 19, still a teenager. Second, he had a reputation for being a really good kid, the kind of person that would go out of his way to help somebody. There was even a story about how Nate helped an old lady who lived across the street. Her driveway would get blocked every time a snowplow would go by, and Nate would always run over and shovel her driveway. But anytime the old lady offered money, he turned it down. That's just who he was.
So that nigga, he was faking it.
Was where he grew up. Nate lived in a quiet lakeside city in Idaho. It looked like something off a postcard. It had spectacular mountains, clear lakes, and clean air. Life there was calm. Nothing about it screamed danger. In summary, Nate was a sweet, small-town kid with zero criminal tendencies. At least, that's how it seemed. But there was one thing about Nate that changed everything.
What happened?
One flaw that set him on the path to becoming a drug kingpin. He reportedly had a puppy dog need for approval, and that desperate need would send him down a dark path. Nate was never one of the popular kids. Friends described him as a fat, funny kid. He was one of those guys everybody used to pick on, and for Nate that stung. He wasn't book smart either. Nate struggled in class, and eventually—
Wait, they say he was a nerd though. So he was, I mean, look, bro. There's nothing wrong with being overweight as long as you got like something else to balance it out. Like if you big but you smart. You know what I'm saying, or something, bro. Yo, you know what I'm saying? You late. See, niggas talking about I'm late. You late. You know what I'm saying? But I explained the video real quick. It's basically, this is about a young kid who turned delivering pizza into a big drug empire, not just business. You know what I'm saying? And he made like 38 million off of this. You know what I'm saying?
He dropped out of high school. While his classmates planned for college, Nate got a job delivering pizza. But like most teenagers, Nate wanted to be cool. He wanted to be noticed and admired. Soon he figured out how. He realized that there was one thing that could make anyone a little more popular: weed. And for demonetization's sake,
shout
we're
out.
going to be referring to marijuana as grass. A lot of teens in his town smoked even though it was illegal. Grass was always in demand. It was hard to get, so anyone who had it instantly became more popular. Soon, Nate made sure he always had some to give away. According to one report, having grass gave Nate a quick way to earn the love, or at least tolerance, of his peers. And for a kid like Nate, that meant everything. But then Nate stumbled onto something bigger, something that could give him more than just popularity. It could give him money, power, and status. It was 2001. Back then, Nate spent his days delivering pizza and hanging out with his friends. One day, while with his
yeah, I
friend
watched
Topher
it.
Clark, they came across a magazine. The cover story was about the booming marijuana industry in Canada. After reading the article, Nate summarized
First off, bruh, why this nigga? Okay, he was getting made fun of because he was overweight. So this nigga decided to start selling pizzas and weed. I don't look. Y'all gotta stop trying to fit in, bro. Just go get you a regular job, bro. Oh no, bruh.
it this way. If you want good grass, go to the Canadian border with a backpack. Across the border,
He got his
massive
hand
farms
area.
were producing some of the highest grade grass in the world. It was called BC Bud. In Canada,
BC
a pound
Bud.
of BC Bud cost about $1,400.
A pound for $1,400.
Back
God
in Idaho,
damn.
that same pound sold for more than double
3
the price.
bands.
And Topher immediately saw the opportunity. By
I ain't gonna lie. Look, he did want money. Look, 3 bands for yo.
in Canada, bring it back across the border, sell it high in Idaho, repeat. The numbers were appealing. Law enforcement estimated the sale of
Yeah,
BC
nigga.
Bud is a $7 billion a
7
year
billion,
industry.
bro. It's crazy how much money people be making off stuff that's not even legal. Like they making 7 billion off this. This not even legal in most places. Like it's probably drug dealers right now making 100 million in the United States. You can't. Weed not even legal in a lot of these places, bro. They all go down. Some of these niggas still going.
That meant there was so much money to be made. Nate checked a map. The Canadian border was so close, just a few hours away from their town. But there was just one problem. How could they smuggle pot across the border without getting caught? The border between the United States and Canada is the longest international border.
It's
in
the
world.
longest
There are
border
official
in the world.
checkpoints where officers inspect every person and every vehicle. They check passports,
I don't know
search
how they
cars, and stop anything
through this.
illegal from getting through. Getting caught smuggling meant years in prison. But people still did it. Experienced smugglers hid pot in buses, mobile homes, and even
Every
horse
drug
trailers.
empire
They
collapsed?
packed it
Well,
so
yeah,
well
this
that
one did
officers
collapse,
missed it
I'm pretty
during
sure.
inspections. Some smugglers
Wait, he said
even
what?
went further. So well that off hid pot in buses, mobile homes, and even horse trailers.
They hide
packed
it in
so well that
buses.
officers missed it during inspection.
Yeah, you could definitely hide it in them horse things, cause them horses be smelling terrible. The dumos be stronger than the weed, bruh.
Some smugglers even went further. One dug a 360-foot
Walk around the-
underground
I
tunnel
don't
to
know.
move pot across the border.
360
Others used kayaks
foot?
to slip through waterways. Some even flew small planes over the border. But
They
these
doing
kids,
anything.
Nate and Topher didn't have those resources. Their only option was to hike through the woods. In certain areas, the border cut
Remember, you probably don't even know this because you were late. The nigga, he's big. He's overweight. He's hiking. Bro, that nigga want that bread bad. I ain't gonna lie, because he overweight. If he hiking, that nigga, he want that bread.
through forests, lakes, and mountains, making it
He
impossible
wanted
to
that
monitor
bread.
every inch. Nate and Topher
Is he
figured
tall?
they could
No,
hike
I don't think so. They just say he fat. And he was fat and funny in school.
hiked the 7-mile border crossing through the forest on foot. It was risky. The terrain was rough. The wilderness was unpredictable. There were wild animals in the woods. But
Oh, that is crazy. They went through the forest. They had it was probably bears. Nah, yeah, he was fat, short.
to risk everything, even their lives.
He was
to make it
nice
happen.
though.
The crossing.
He
Nate
helped in
and
the
Topher
community.
scraped together every dollar they could find. Between odd jobs, borrowed cash, and savings, they pulled together $1,500. They drove up
Boys
to
pulled
Creston, a small farming
1,500.
town near the Canadian border. Then they headed to a local bar searching for a dealer. Within hours, they found one. The boys paid $1,400 for a pound of beef.
Okay, how they just find a dealer and not get arrested? How is that possible? Them niggas just found a dealer and nobody rested. Nobody found out.
Then they stuffed it into a backpack.
Hey, bro,
That
them
was
niggas
easy.
know.
The hard part was getting it across the border without getting caught. Their plan was straightforward. Nate would drive back across the border acting like a normal traveler. Meanwhile, Topher would hike 7 miles through the woods carrying the product.
Oh,
in his backpack.
so-
Meanwhile, Topher straightforward. Nate would drive back across.
I think, is Nate the big nigga? I think Nate might be the big nigga. I don't think Topher was the one. Topher, I don't know. I don't
border
think.
acting like a normal traveler. Meanwhile, Topher would hike 7 miles through the woods carrying the product in his backpack. It sounded simple, but it wasn't. There were grizzly bears and mountain lions in those woods, and a wrong turn could get you
Was
lost for
good.
days.
Toe
If
sucking
Topher-
big dad boy.
Easy. The hard part was getting
You know, we watching, right? We watching something about like your type of industry. You should know about this industry. This is your industry, so
it across the border without getting caught. Their plan was straightforward. Nate would drive back across the border acting like a normal traveler. Meanwhile, Topher would
trying to
hike
put you
7
on, bro.
miles through the woods carrying the product in his backpack. It sounded simple, but it wasn't. There were grizzly bears and mountain
grizzly
lions in
bear.
those woods.
I ain't
The
gonna
wrong
lie,
turn
gang. That weed would have had. I would have went back the other way. I would have went back to Canada. I'm not going bears and mountain, bro.
could get you lost for days. If Topher didn't make it back before nightfall, you could freeze, get lost, or run straight into predators. Still, they went through with it. The journey began hour after hour. Topher pushed forward through the woods.
No, what
Finally,
you
he
talking
made
about?
it to the other side safely.
He
Nate
made
was
it?
waiting to meet him. The first run proved the impossible was possible. It was terrifying, risky, and
They just
downright
made 3
left
bands.
and now they wanted to do it again. Back home, Nate and Topher sold the entire pound in a couple of hours. They
Hours?
doubled their money. The speed of that first sale made one thing clear. Demand was high. And now Nate and Topher had the supply, so they went back. This time they bought 2 pounds. It sold out instantly. Within weeks, Nate and Topher were making regular runs. A few
They making
pounds at a
regular
time.
runs
Each
around
crossing was
Canada.
equally dangerous, but every success made them bolder. At first, they sold only to friends and acquaintances. Even on that small scale, they doubled. sometimes
boys
tripled
making
their
bread,
profits. Soon
man.
They were making 20 or 30 grand.
30 a
for
week?
19-year-old hype.
19 years old, he making 30 a week. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I might gotta get in that business, bro. I might gotta 30 bands a week. Bro, I might gotta get in that business, bro.
School dropout or anyone at all, it was life-changing money, but it wasn't enough. Nate had a
It wasn't
target. His
enough.
plan was to make $3 million and get out. But success has a way of changing.
3
plans.
million? Why is
Making
3
all that
million?
money gave Nate something he never had before. Soon, he didn't want to stop.
They
at
will
3
kill
million.
you,
He
dude.
wanted to build an empire. Nate and Topher
Niggas in Idaho. Idaho's so sweet, bro. It ain't like down south, bro. Idaho is sweet. Super sweet. Idaho, bro. I ain't never heard about no crime going down in Idaho.
realized they couldn't keep doing everything themselves, so Nate turned to the only people he trusted, friends and old classmates. Within months, Nate had a crew. None of them were hardened criminals. Most never broke the law before, but they all wanted easy money.
Dumb niggas never broke the law before. They first time breaking the law, they gonna help niggas deal the craziest weed.
When their operation was at its height, it included at least 32
32
Topher
people?
was in charge of the
Hey,
recruits.
man.
He led them on the 7-mile hike.
It is
But
sweet.
now that they had money, they upgraded. They bought new boots to make the trek easier, night vision goggles,
Them niggas had boots and night vision goggles? They moving tag.
to see in the dark, camouflage gear to blend in.
Camouflage
First
gear?
aid kits, bear spray. They even bought a spray
First
that was
aid
supposed to make them invisible to heat sensors. The system
What?
was simple. The crew crossed the border.
Nah, they just spinning bread. That 30 bands a week got these niggas acting crazy. They getting invisible spray so they can go through the heat sensors?
6 at a time and carrying bags of
They is
cash.
overdoing it,
Sometimes
like-
they carried as much as 400
400 bet. Oh my gosh. This not fair.
dollars in a single trip. In Canada, they would exchange the money
What?
for product. Then they would hike back through the woods with backpacks.
400
full of
bands?
pot. Cash went one way, product.
Man, they better have some artillery with them. They carrying 400 bands. I don't care how many niggas it is. Some niggas be ready to die. 400 bands?
came back, but it never stopped being dangerous. One time, the crew got lost in the woods and nearly froze to death. Luckily, no one got
Niggas
seriously
almost
hurt,
froze to
so
death.
they kept going. They even started enjoying the trips. Nate sometimes joined them. He later said the adrenaline rush of
Right to
walking
that.
in the woods at night. The thrill is addicting. Soon, Nate was supplying entire dealer networks across.
You heard about this?
The crew was flush with cash. Then they hit a new problem. Although they were making millions, they couldn't spend it freely. Almost everyone involved was in their teens and early 20s. Most still were living with their moms. They didn't want their parents finding out what they were doing. Flashing sudden wealth would raise suspicion. Cops could even start asking questions.
You gotta
After
start
risking
spending
their
that
lives
shit
and freedom, the kids were rich
gradually.
but trapped. That's when Nate's puppy dog need for approval kicked in again. Nate didn't just want the money. He wanted respect. And now that he was rich, he thought he could buy it. So Nate started spending. His friends followed suit. And from there, things got out of
See,
control.
it's like money. If you lame and you just get money, money can't make you not lame. If you lame before you got the money, you gonna be lame with the money, bruh. This nigga, he wanted to be loved so bad. This nigga gonna start just spending the money with no sense. He's spending it on hoes, food, clothes. This nigga, you can't just be spending 300,000 randomly when you just broke.
Fast.
He dumb.
Wild and rich. When they
Young,
started
wild, and
spending,
dumb,
Nate and his
and
friends
rich.
didn't hold back. They bought four-wheelers, jet skis, and gold jewelry.
4-wheelers, jet skis, and gold jewelry. Now, I know the FBI and the CIA, they looking at these niggas' bank transactions and they just wondering what's going on. They wondering what's going on. How
They
these
also
niggas
threw
just start.
massive parties that every kid in town heard about. But the
Man,
biggest
yeah, this
splurge
do
and
always
the
happen.
hardest
These
to
niggas
hide
don't know how
was
to-
on enormous lakefront homes. Some of them bought, others rented, but these weren't ordinary houses. They were mansions.
know you ain't
Nate's
buying
place had
clothes,
8 bedrooms,
shoes.
and an indoor swimming pool. Overnight, Nate and his crew became the coolest kids in town.
Only clothes, shoes. You spend it. You supposed to spend it gradually. You don't spend it all at one time. You probably spend you a 10 every and combined 2 months. You would probably spend 10,000. But then you can't spend no more than that. I guess maybe next year it can go up. But you can't just start off. You not spending $1 million in 1 year. You just turned 19. You not.
Maybe Nate was
You
enjoying
not no YouTuber. You not no streamer. You not no rapper. So how you getting this money?
his newfound popularity too much, because soon he came up with a ridiculous idea. He wanted to look like a kingpin. People said Nate started acting like Tony Montana.
Man, here we go. He's a lame. He's a bum. Once a bum, always a bum. Once a lame, you always gonna be lame, bruh. He talking about he start feeling like Tony Montana. Bro, who are you?
Movie Scarface. Scarface is one of the
You
most
gotta
iconic
hide it.
films ever made. It follows a Cuban immigrant, Tony Montana, who builds a massive criminal empire in Miami. Tony Montana became the blueprint for wannabe drug lords everywhere. He wore
He's
flashy
dumb.
suits and gold chains. He carried firearms constantly. He spoke with a distinct accent. Nate was reportedly inspired by that. So Nate started talking with an accent, copying
Oh yeah, this nigga lame. He started talking with an accent so he could seem like he tough. Bro, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, he just had to get caught because this nigga, he didn't know what to do. He had the money, he had everything, and he just wasted
Montana's
it.
swagger. People said he became cocky and disrespectful.
Cocky and
Nate
dis-
also bought several firearms, including
Man.
an automatic one.
I
He
know,
even
he
started
did
dating a
dope.
stripper 7 years older than him. Topher, Nate's
He dated
partner,
a stripper 7 years older than him. Why are you dating a stripper in the first place? You got all this money. You choose to go date a stripper. One that's 7 years older than you. She don't care about this nigga. She just want the money. Literally just the money. This nigga buying guns. He don't even know how to use them. What is it like?
beginning, watched the transformation on
Yeah,
Topher
he's dumb.
described it this way. Nate went from having this
I know.
humble personality to thinking he was this badass smuggler no one could touch. He would drive around town with his 24-inch rims and diamond chains, listening to hardcore rap. Just this
Oh,
perfect drug
yeah,
dealer
yeah,
image.
yeah,
And
yeah,
people
yeah.
were starting to fear him because he had power and money. Nate wasn't the same person anymore. And Nate wasn't just playing a part. He started using substances, particularly white powder. It wasn't surprising because Tony...
How you didn't... What? How you a weed kingpin and you start using cocaine? That don't even make sense. That don't even make sense. What type of nigga is this?
Montana from Scarface did the same. But the substances made Nate paranoid. And now that he had weapons, it also made him dangerous. There's one story that shows just how dangerous. One night, Nate and his crew threw a huge party. Over 100 people packed the house. Everyone was drinking, dancing, and having fun. Then a fight broke out over a girl. The place erupted. People were yelling, shoving, and screaming. In the chaos, Nate grabbed one of his biggest weapons and shot it off in the house. Someone who was there said it sounded like a bomb went off.
What type of weapon did he have? It sounded like a bomb. A bomb? What did he have? Man, hey, bro, y'all be giving the wrong niggas money, bro. He is slow. Like, what type? What did he have?
That was the new Nate. Nate the Kingpin. Meanwhile, Topher was becoming anxious. He wanted to quit the business. After all, he already made enough to live.
I don't want to quit the business too, bruh.
He wanted out. Nate refused. Remember, Topher
that
was
nigga
the one
heat,
who trained
for real.
runners. He was the one keeping the product moving safely through the woods. Nate couldn't afford to lose him, so he offered Topher more money to stay. Topher reluctantly agreed, but deep down, Topher knew something bad was coming. He told himself, this is going to have a horrible ending.
I hope he hiding that bread somewhere, bruh.
Nate and his crew thought the cops were their biggest problem. They were wrong. Other smuggling crews were watching them closely. To them, Nate and his boys weren't just kids. They were competition. And
They
in this
were.
business, competition was deadly. Ruthless rivals. Just a few miles away.
Bro,
another
it's
young
crazy. The real kingpin, I'm pretty sure they was paying the cops. That's why they didn't get caught for real. Well, they did, but you know, it took a long time for them to get caught because they was paying the cops. And me, if I'm a cop, bruh, look, as long as you ain't killing nobody, you can sell all the weed you want, nigga. Cause weed, I ain't gonna lie, weed, it's a bad drug. Well, it's not. Ain't gonna lie, it's not no bad drug. I'm not gonna lie. Cause for some people, it keep them like focused and it keep them from doing bad things. So as long as you're not killing nobody, you just selling weed, bro, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? Just pay me, so I keep it all quiet. That's all I'm saying.
smuggler was making moves. His name was Brendan.
You need to pay the
Butler.
cops.
Brendan was only 20, close to Nate's
Yo.
age, and he ran his own grass operation in the same area as
Yo.
Nate. One article described Brendan as Nate's most serious rival. Brendan was very different than
Brendan?
Nate. Nate was a high school dropout, but Brendan graduated with honors from a private prep
So
school.
Brendan's
Nate
smart.
wasn't book smart, but Brendan excelled in school. Nate grew up in a working class family, but Brendan's parents were wealthy. Despite their differences,
Hold
they
on.
had one thing.
So Brendan, he got a good family, but he's selling weed. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Yeah, you definitely done
They
for it.
both wanted to look tough. We've already seen how Nate modeled himself after Tony Montana. Brendan also created his own gangster persona. He drove around town with a low-riding 93 Eldorado with tinted windows and tricked out rims. He used substances.
Bro,
and
these
acted
niggas be lame,
At
bruh.
first, the two stayed out of each other's way. Nate had his buyers, Brendan had his. But as Nate's business grew, their worlds collided. They were chasing the same customers, fighting for the same suppliers,
Having
and
an
moving into
eclipse,
each
yeah.
other's territories. Arguments turned into confrontations. Confrontations turned into threats. But Brendan wasn't making idle threats. It became personal for him. He began to hate Nate. Soon, Brendan Butler decided to do the unthinkable. He
What
wanted
Brendan
to end
did.
Nate for good. By early 2002, Brendan started looking for a hitman. He found a man named Giovanni, also known as Gio. Gio wasn't a professional killer. He was a graphic artist who did hits as a side hustle.
Nigga,
Gio recruited
wait,
two friends.
what? You don't just do hits as a side hustle. What man, what? You telling me this nigga just he right, but he'd do a hit on the side. Hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie. These niggas got it, bro. I don't know. He'll just go kill you randomly. Nigga just bring the bread to him, he'll go kill you. Then he'll go back to writing.
assistants to help him with the
Okay.
job. Brendan's orders were clear. He wanted them to rob Nate.
You have to
and then
always.
end it.
It's no
Brendan
way that's a
believed that
side
taking
hustle.
Nate out would collapse the entire operation. The hitmen agreed to do the job for $100,000. Brendan gave them $5,000 up front. But what Brendan did next showed how much of a wannabe gangster he was. He went
I don't know,
shopping
his
with the
hitman named
hitman.
Gio.
Brendan joined Gio and his crew on a trip to Kmart. They bought black shoes, pants and gloves, and windbreakers, as well as tarps for disposing of the bodies. Brendan thought he was running the
even
show,
know them boy
even
gone.
gave the crew tools for the job. But his plan was about to fall apart. It would become one of the worst fumbles in assassination history. In June 2002, the hitmen made their move. That same night, Brendan hosted a big alibi party so he couldn't be implicated. It could
Okay.
be used as evidence that he was somewhere else when the incident took place. Miles away, the hitmen broke into the home of one of Nate's close allies, a guy called Scuzz. They robbed Scuzz and then let him go. Afterward, they went straight to Brendan and split the stolen cash. It was a catastrophic mistake. By robbing Nate's ally, they tipped off Nate's entire crew. Everyone
Oh.
now knew someone was coming after them, and that's exactly what happened. When Nate heard about the robbery, he became paranoid. He didn't know who was behind it, but his operation went on high alert. Getting close to him became nearly impossible, and that's when everything
That
flipped.
nigga had
Brendan
shit
started
locked
fighting
down.
with his own hitman. Brendan still owed Gio $95,000 of the $100,000 for the hit, but he refused to pay until the job was done. But now Nate's crew was on edge, so getting to him was almost impossible. The job couldn't be done. Brendan kept feeding the hitmen information about Nate and his crew, but much of it turned out to be wrong information. Every failed attempt
So he's
made
just
them
trying to-
angrier. The tension built for months. Brendan and the hitmen argued constantly. By October 2002, everything boiled over. Brendan arranged to meet the hitmen in a remote campsite. He brought them there to show the men a remote location to dispose of the bodies. But at the
Okay.
meeting, they argued about money. According to police reports, Brendan's wannabe gangster persona apparently rubbed the group of actual gangsters the wrong way. Gio
So that nigga Brendan, he tried to act like he was a. You not tough. You have a perfectly great family at home, bruh. And you graduated probably at the top of your class. Why are you trying to act? Bruh, them niggas not going for that.
got physical with Brendan and ended him on the spot in a cruel.
He killed that nigga. That's why you can't, that's why you can't. You can't act like you tough around certain niggas. Like, he tried to act tough around Gio, the real hitman. That nigga took him off the. What?
Twist of fate.
Hey,
Brendan
bruh.
Butler, Nate's biggest rival, was taken out by
Look.
the very hitmen he hired to attack.
Stop
They
acting
dragged his body
tough.
into the woods and left him beneath the trees. For almost a month, no one knew what happened to
Nah,
Brendan.
that is actually crazy. That's why you can't act tough, bruh. He act tough and got.
Parents launched an all-out search.
You
Then
can't
a
act
woodcutter
tough.
stumbled across his remains deep in the woods. The discovery shocked
That
the
nigga is
entire
sweet.
town. Police launched a homicide investigation. They combed through Brendan's phone records and messages. That's when they found the hitman's number. Gio was now a suspect.
They found
Police
Gio number?
arrested Gio and his crew in March
That's tough.
2003, about 5 months after the crime. The hitmen confessed. They told investigators everything. Brendan's pot operation, his
He's
rivalry
special.
with Nate, and the failed assassination plot. All the secrets were out. Police already noticed the surge of Canadian grass flowing into Idaho. Now there was a body on the ground. This wasn't a small town smuggling anymore. It was organized crime. And with Brendan gone, Nate was now the undisputed kingpin. If police could bring him down, they could choke off the entire supply chain. From that
Okay.
moment, Nate had a massive target on his back. Pressure from all sides. In mid-2003, Nate's empire looked unstoppable on paper, but in reality, it was falling apart. After Brendan's demise, law enforcement turned up the heat. Police began running surveillance on Nate's crew. Even the FBI got involved. The cops
Oh, yeah, the FBI got involved.
Agents
Jeez.
followed cars. Phones were tapped. Stash houses were mapped. Nate and his guys were shaken, not just because of the police, but mainly because of how Brendan had lost his life. For the first time, Nate understood just how deep he was in. He realized this wasn't just kids smuggling grass anymore.
Yeah,
We were
bro,
in
you
a
can't
world
get
of
out now, it's
hitmen,
over with.
revenge, and violent rivals.
The
Now
hitman
cops
killed the
were
nigga who
watching
paying him.
everything. Most of Nate's network was
Nigga
made
got
up
tired of
young
that.
teenagers. They weren't built for this kind of pressure. By April 2003, Nate and his crew made a decision. Get out while they still could. They had millions of dollars stashed away. If they moved fast, they could disappear. One of the boys rented a U-Haul and drove it to the mansion to start packing. What they didn't realize was the cops were surveilling almost every house tied to Nate's crew. When they
Damn.
spotted the U-Haul, they knew what was happening. The kids were about to run. They couldn't let that happen. Police
That's
raided the
tough.
house. They seized weapons, cash, grass, and computers. Everyone there was arrested, but
I
Nate
did.
and Topher weren't there. Under interrogation, the crew
I don't
broke
know.
instantly. Everyone told on everyone. Some even became informant.
Yo,
They
no.
used the information to give up.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, this is crazy. They said everybody told on everybody. Everyone told on everyone? They said some of them became informed. Everyone told on I gotta run that back. Yo, no way. These niggas head part wise.
Under interrogation, the crew broke instantly. Everyone told on everyone.
It's no loyalty. Everybody told on everybody. That was niggas might as well, like, why is y'all even doing this? Y'all gonna tell on everybody.
Even became informants.
Nigga,
And thanks to the
some of them
information
became
they gave up,
informants?
investigators built a much bigger case. By November 2003,
Man.
police struck again. In one sweep, they made 14 arrests, including Scuzz, Topher, and others. They even arrested Nate's stripper girlfriend, Buffy. But
They
one name
arrested
was
the girl.
still missing, Nate Norman. With most of his crew behind bars, Nate disappeared. He was on the run for several months, but he couldn't.
Oh, that
run
nigga was gone.
Eventually, Nate turned himself in. When police finally met Nate face to face, they were stunned. A reporter described the reaction. They were like, "This is the guy who orchestrated a multi-million-dollar operation, and he
Yo.
looks like and has the job skills of a pizza delivery boy." But it wasn't truly over. Not yet. Nate surrendering didn't mean giving up. He hired expensive lawyers.
That's him. Yeah, that's him.
Multi-million-dollar
Nigga
kingpin
looks sweet.
was about to go head-to-head with federal prosecutors. The big question was, could Nate actually get out of this?
No, he not getting out of this.
Nate was 21 when he went to court in 2004. The prosecution came down hard. Nate wasn't treated like a kid who made bad choices. He was portrayed as the kingpin of a drug empire. If Nate lost the case, he was facing 10 to 12 years behind bars.
I ain't gonna lie.
Prosecutors accused
10 to 12, not that bad. Cause imagine, alright, imagine, right? He get 10 to 12, right? That mean he can get out when he 30. He can get out when he 34, something like that. Imagine he hid some of the money. He hid like 2 million. They didn't find it. Cause they gonna take whatever they find. They gonna take. What if he hide like 10 million? 2 million. And then when he get out in 10 to 12 years, bruh, he got a free 2 million. It don't matter. 10 years, not even, bro. That's not that much for what he doing. That's not that much. That's not that much. I ain't gonna lie. This is twin. Huh. That's actually not that much for what he did. Yo, this is, bro. It's gotta be, bro, relative or something, bro. That nigga. Them niggas look too like, bro. I don't know though. Like, it seemed like he could, bro. I assume, nigga. Man, I'm doing that. I mean, if I try to get it lower, but that 10 to 12 ain't nothing for real, for real. I got some of the money hidden.
Nate's crew of smuggling $38 million worth of grass. The evidence was overwhelming. Bank records, pounds of seized product, and recorded conversations with the crew.
Oh,
But it got
damn.
worse. Multiple members of Nate's own crew testified against him in exchange for lighter sentences.
What?
The case
Nigga said everybody in the crew snitched on the leader. There's no, yeah, he not getting out of this. Everybody snitched on him. You're not getting out of this, bro. I ain't gonna even lie.
against him, Nate had no way out.
Yeah, that's over with.
Pleading guilty to 5 of the 59 counts against him.
Wait.
Even with the deal, he knew he was trading his freedom for years behind bars. The judge sentenced him to 12 years in prison.
12
He would
years.
not be eligible for parole.
So he
until
out
served
now.
At least 10 years. Nate filed
He
an
out
appeal
now.
to get a reduced sentence. It was rejected. Most of Nate's crew got much lighter
I
sentences.
know,
Discuss
12.
Topher.
12 is you know, that's doable for what he was doing. I feel like I ain't gonna say he deserved more, because at the end of the day it's weed, bruh. Weed, I feel like weed personally don't help. I mean, it don't hurt people. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's lace. If it ain't lace, then it don't hurt nobody. If anything, it do good. It keep niggas relaxed. So me, I feel like that's cool. That's cool. He was moving a lot though. 30 mil, and they say these niggas only got 30 months. Bro, them niggas must have gave up crazy info. 30 months?
For each received 30
Them niggas
months.
got-
The rest got between 30 and 46 months.
Like
Theo
2.5
and
years?
Brendan Butler also pleaded guilty. He was handed a life sentence with a possibility of parole in 8 years. It was a sad end to a crazy story. But Nate's fame
Man.
didn't disappear behind bars. If anything, his story got bigger.
I know they better have hid some money somewhere. Dog, that's, bro, I'm telling you, hid the little bread somewhere, bro. Cause they didn't. I mean, going back to 9 to 5s after they was just walking the city in Idaho acting like they was crazy. Hey,
Being sentenced, Nate Norman became popular online. People were fascinated by how a small-town pizza delivery boy built a multi-million-dollar
I'd be
smuggling
fascinated too,
empire.
bro.
He made documentaries, blogs, and podcasts dissecting his rise and fall. That fascination eventually reached Hollywood. In 2014, filmmakers released a movie.
They not
based
getting
on
out
that story.
nowhere
It was
at
titled
all.
Kid Cannabis. It turned Nate into a cultural icon. By then, Nate was free to watch it himself, because in December 2013, Nate was released.
he got released in 2013. There's so much life for him to live now. That nigga probably got bread now. He probably got bread. He probably got at least 100 bands by now. He been out for 10 plus years. That nigga, bro, he chilling. I ain't gonna lie. He chilling. He did that legend. He lived it. He did everything. He became a drug kingpin. He had all the money. He had all the hoes. He had clothes, cars. He had jewelry, everything. He served a little 10 years. He probably thinking about his things, his life. Now this nigga can. He was probably a little broke for the first 5 years, but now he probably up. He probably chilling out. He didn't really. I ain't gonna lie. And he probably like 40 now or something like that. He like 40 now. But bro, I ain't gonna lie. Now I'm not influencing this, but I'm saying it's not as bad as it could have went.
This photo was taken by his parents when he came out of prison.
That's him?
2013, Nate was released. This photo was taken.
Oh, that nigga done turned to a thug now. I ain't gonna lie. That nigga done turned to a thug now. That nigga went. That bitch looking sweet. He might got a little podcast, bruh. I ain't gonna lie, like, cause he could make so much money off of just telling his stories on how he did it. Like, cause it's not gonna be as good hearing it from a nigga who just getting the information off the web. It'd be way better to hear the story from the actual nigga who went through it. Bro, that nigga can make so much money. If he not on the podcast wave, bruh, he need to get on it, bruh. No cap. That's free money in your
When he came out
40s.
of prison. Today, Nate owns a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning business.
Oh yeah, he making money. Yeah. They put this nigga away for the 10 years. That nigga was just thinking. He was just brainstorming ways to get that little money back. Bro, that nigga he
Today,
locked.
Nate owns a heating,
ventilation, and air conditioning business?
Has a family. But the story
Oh,
is
yeah.
well
Oh, yeah.
with Topher, Nate's partner, the guy who helped them since.
Oh yeah,
birth.
Topher got fucked over. He good. Was it worth? I mean, he got to live a fun life. I ain't gonna mean lie. Like, he got to do everything, and then he still ended up with a whole family. That little 10 years that he served, that helped him get his mind right. That just helped him get his mind right, because realistically, if he probably would have kept living the way that he was living, he probably would have got killed. Because he was real cocky, so he probably would have got killed. So I feel like that 10 years it helped.
In 2019, Topher got into a fight at a bar. Things got physical. The other man pulled out a weapon. Topher lost his life.
Everyone is just shocked
Damn,
by Clark's death.
that nigga,
Well known,
damn.
especially in North Idaho.
Nate Norman thought money would make
Damn.
people love him, and it worked. for a
Rest
while.
in peace.
When you're only loved for what you have, you'll be alone when you lose it. Visual Venture.
Man.
If you thought creating a 30
Hey, YouTube. This is a W video, I'm not gonna lie. For Nate, bruh. Man, W Nate, bruh. Nate living a good life now. This nigga probably got he might got $1 million now. Again. He probably got it again. You know what I'm saying? So he chilling now, but rest in peace, Topher, bruh. And make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. And come on Twitch and see me live. Okay? See me live. And yeah, second video. Peace.